All right, guys, I guess we'll get it going now. And if any of you have any troubles or whatever, maybe just try and put something in the chat that says what's going on. If you have any questions, also you can put them in the chat or unmute yourself and ask, and then put yourself back on mute if you don't mind. But we're going to get started with the softball meeting, and today we're going to go over the exam question. So even if you're not planning on advancing in softball, which I would hope that most of you would want to at least, even if you're not planning, I think it's an informative way to make sure that you have some of the rules down, especially like I had my first softball game today and I was like, even I was like, whoa, oh yeah, that's what it is. So it's a pretty good refresher. And we've got a couple experts with us, our normal trainers, Steve and Carl, to kind of clarify anything with the exam questions. Some of them, most of them will probably be pretty obvious to everybody. A couple of them might be choice this or choice that. But in general, it's a pretty straightforward exam. Nothing too crazy in terms of trick questions or anything like that. Okay. All right, let's get it going. Hold on, I'm just going to look in the chat real quick. Oh, I see. Okay. All right, let me just, somebody in the waiting room. All right, sounds good. All right, guys. Well, we're going to start right in. We're going to put up a poll for each question. So I want you to go ahead and answer the poll, or not. You don't have to participate, but it kind of makes things pretty obvious, like like whether or not we need to discuss the rule or the question or not. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll here. Let me get out of this one. No, hold on. Go back and then launch the entire one. Okay. So first question. You can go ahead and answer that one. I think this is probably the easiest one on the exam. Carl, okay, I see that people see it. Okay.
Yeah. And then it's got questions 1 and 2 up there, Tony, just so you know.
Oh, I see. So I'm gonna have to scroll down. Okay.
Yeah.
Are people able to answer the no, we'll just go one at a time. So you can read the second question while we're waiting, but I'm gonna scroll down as soon as we see how it works.
Sure.
And then we'll go ahead and go on to the next one, because I don't want to end the poll until all 30 questions are answered. So we're just going to scroll down. I see how it works. And then I see that somebody's already answered the second question. But hey, Carl, so you see how it says 0 out of 10? Yeah, okay. So 10 people have answered the question. They've all answered it pregame coin flip for during the MHSA tournament, how are home teams determined? That's good because that's exactly right. I think we'd have an issue probably if a number of people said something else, but nope, that's correct. So we're not going to spend any time on that and discuss it because it's a black and white thing. So Carl, tell me, because I don't see how I can easily move this.
I don't know either. Now that so when I answered question 1 and hit submit, my window goes away and I don't see the questions again. So I don't know if you're going to have to walk us through question by question.
I could relaunch the poll too.
All right.
That's what mine did also.
Yeah.
So all you did was answer the thing and then it went away?
Yeah, I answered question 1 and hit submit. And
what
then
does QR,
the whole thing.
QR code means? I don't even, let's see. Okay, well maybe it'll go to the second question once I end the poll. Okay, because I want to share results. Okay, let's see what happens. Guys, this is kind of a high wire act for me, all right? I know I'm a computer programmer, but I'm not all that great at this kind of stuff. So let's see what happens, because we put all 30 questions on the same same poll. So I might have to keep resharing. Okay, so can you guys see that there 10 out of 10 said pregame coin flip? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so I shared results. And then if I go to relaunch poll, the poll will clear existing poll results. Do you want to continue? Not really. I kind of want to go to the next question. Let's see what it says. Let's see. So I shared the results. Stop sharing. Let's just go to relaunch poll and I'll see if I can get you to the second question. Okay,
All right. So yeah, cleared the first question and now it gives you all the rest of the questions, right?
does it?
Yep. So you could, in theory, still answer question one the way it comes up.
Can you guys see question 2 though?
Yep.
All right, good.
Yes.
So at the pregame conference, the home team coach informs the umpires that the fence in left field is only 180 feet, and all balls hit over the fence will be a 2-base award. What do you think? I'll wait till we get at least 10, probably 10 responses. But like I said, I welcome you guys to answer any of these. I don't know if you answer wrong, I won't know who did it. So don't be shy. Put what you think the answer is, because it'll give us a good indication as to whether or not we need to discuss a question. But all 10 people that responded so far, all 11 so far, have said the umpires shall not permit a ground rule to supersede a rules book rule. Any ball hit over the fence is a home run. And that is exactly correct. So I'm going to go ahead and end this poll. If anybody has any disputes with anything that, even if it's a right answer and you want to say, well, why shouldn't it be that, a different answer, please speak up. There's we want to just get clarity for everybody on all of these questions, because not all of them are as obvious as these first two. Okay, so share results. Can you see the second result?
Yes.
Okay, so then I'm going to stop sharing, but everybody got that one right. So now if I'm going to go to relaunch poll, hopefully that'll go to number 3.
Yep.
It did?
Yep. Yeah, number 3 showed up. I mean, the other questions are there too, but number 3 showed up.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
So
Tony, they just have to scroll to it,
Yeah.
and it's
yeah, I
fine.
know, but I'm having a little trouble with my scrolling thing, so that's why it's a little more difficult. Oh, it's easier if I expand the window. Durr. Okay, the umpire notices F6 is wearing a smartwatch on the playing field. Which of the following is true? Okay, so far so good. Okay, looks like everybody has the right answer. And like I said, even if you choose wrong, all that does is indicates to us that we need to talk about it a little bit. I won't even know who submitted which answers. Okay, so it says smartwatches are allowed as long as they are not used to communicate outside of the dugout, on offense, or by anyone other than F2 on defense. Now the F2 on defense, that's the catcher. So they can receive signals from the dugout as to what the pitcher is going to pitch, then they signal to the pitcher. Okay, so we know that that's true. They also are not allowed to communicate back. But I would say don't look for trouble. If it doesn't appear that anybody's doing that, we don't need to inspect them or anything like that. We just, at the pregame conference, hey coach, is everybody legally and properly equipped? Okay. Carl, would you say do anything different on that?
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, it would be very clear if like the catcher's like talking into her watch or something like
Yeah.
that, right?
Well, I've had
But
this with baseball before where the baseball guy was talking, but then when I'd say, "Hey, who are you talking to?" He'd be like, "No, I swear to God, I'm talking to myself." Just
yeah,
like, and I'm like, and I just kind of, mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay, so can everybody see the results of the third question now?
Yeah. So that's A, in case anybody didn't know, but it looks like everybody got it right
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing on that, and then we'll go ahead and now, are you guys able to go to the next question, or did it disappear like you said it did before?
Yeah, when you hit
Disappears.
when
Disappears.
you hit submit, it disappears. So you can answer multiple questions at a time, but as soon as you hit submit, the window disappears.
Okay. Ah, boy, crap, 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 crap. The reason I said crap was because once I went to let people into the waiting room, now I can't find the poll thing. So I'm just going to relaunch the poll. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we're going to relaunch it anyways. So now we're on question 4. Okay. So you guys can see question 4. I see people are already answering it already. Where is it permissible to obtain transmitted or recorded information from electronic devices that is reviewed in the dugout for coaching purposes during the game? Like, let's say somebody's got a camera on the back of the fence, that kind of stuff. Oh, and it does look like we have 2 different answers. So we're gonna discuss this one, Carl, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like there are 13 answers in. So I'm gonna end the poll and share the results. And it does go to question 4 for you guys to see the sharing the results, right?
Yeah, you just got to scroll down just a little bit.
Okay. So you can see that half of us answered in the dugout and half of us said in the dugout or from spectator in the stands. Carl, you want to go over that one?
Yeah, so the book says during the game, the use of electronic devices by team personnel to transmit or record information pertaining to their players or team's performance shall be permitted for coaching purposes within the team's dugout slash bench area only, provided to the point of origin of the electronic communication is outside of the field of play. So it's a little bit different than um, from a spectator in the stands, right? So the right answer is A and B. Um, just the wording of the answer, you have to decipher that a little bit, right? So a coach or an assistant coach or whoever, let's say they're calling pitches from behind the dugout, outside of the dugout, but behind the fence. That's perfectly okay. There's no issues there. It does not have to be just in the dugout. However, look at C. That is not permissible, right? Thank goodness no one answered that, but there are no GoPros or any of that stuff during regular play.
Which would also preclude all of the above as an answer as well.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, good enough. So the answer is
Is
E, A,
E.
and B.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to hit stop sharing. Share the results. Wait, no, I want to stop sharing. Sorry. And I got to go to relaunch poll again, right? So if you answered question 5 already, I apologize, but you might have to answer it again. So question 5, R1 is standing on third base when the pitcher receives the ball in the circle with feet partially outside the line of the circle. R1 takes 2 steps towards home plate and stops. R1 is what? Looks like everybody's all over this one.
That's good. And also remember too that um, the it has to be the pitcher that has the
Correct.
ball
Yeah.
inside the circle. It can't be the third baseman or the first baseman or anybody else, right? It needs to be the pitcher.
Yeah,
And
we had a play today where the ball got thrown back like as a fake, like from a
Mhm.
first and third situation, and the shortstop came into the circle to take the ball.
Mhm.
So
and just so you know,
don't get that confused.
Carl,
Yep.
if I can just, and the spirit behind the look back rule is if you have a runner on first and you have a runner on third, what a lot of times is the runner on first will try to start dancing in order to draw a throw in which would allow the runner on third to then try to go home. And so the
Correct.
look back rule tries to stop that. So that was kind of like the spirit behind that. I mean, I did a baseball game on Saturday where there was a runner on first and third. Kid tries to steal and gets himself into a rundown, and the runner on third, of course, scores with ease. But in softball, I mean, the field's much shorter, so it was just like completely unfair. So that's why they did this rule.
Yeah, it's definitely a different rule than it is in baseball. But
Yeah.
remember, the pitching mound is not a circle. So, I mean,
Right.
it has a circle around it, but it's not a circle.
But I just wanted people to know that's when it usually happens is they try to score that runner from third.
If you also can get into situations, let's take that a step further, right? In softball, you can get into situations where you have multiple runners on. The ball goes back to the circle, right? And you've got runners standing on bases, but you have one of the runners that either is making a decision on what they're going to do, so they're not on the base when the pitcher obtains the ball in the circle. They have to make a decision which way they're going, right? And other players that are on the base, unless the ball is thrown, are not legally permitted to leave the base. So it's a two umpire system. So make sure that you're paying attention to your responsibilities and call that accordingly. Does
Right.
that make sense?
And this question is also asking you, does it matter if the foot
If the feet are
it
partially outside the
partially
Yeah.
or yeah, that's also important
Yeah.
because
And it has, yep. It has to be
between
both feet.
there is a difference, like especially in the batter's box, the difference between the college rule and the high school rule. College rule, you only have to be partially out. High school, you have to be fully out.
Right.
Okay,
And
good.
the book does specify both feet partially inside the circle. So if one foot is completely out of the circle and the other foot is either all the way in the circle or partially in the circle, they are not in the circle.
Good. Thanks, guys. That is good to remember too. So you don't see people trying to do shenanigans too much with it. The circle is generally the circle, but just be aware. Okay, number 6.
Tony, you got to let them know she is out. The answer for number 5 is
Oh, I'm
B.
sorry. Yeah, the
Yeah.
answer to number 5 is that player is out. Answer B. All right, it's number 6. During the act of pitching, which movement is not legal? Okay, I think the people answering B probably didn't keep reading, but okay. We'll talk about this one.
Well, people are answering, Tony. I just want people to be aware of what a lot of coaches will do. There aren't that many really dominant pitchers around me. The girl from Mercy graduated. Ava's gone, but if you have a pitcher who's just dealing, coaches will come up to the umpire and say, you know what, I think she's replanting. I mean, just anything to try to get you to talk to the coach or talk to the pitcher. So just beware. I mean, if you have a high level pitcher and a coach comes up to you and says, I really think she's doing X, Y, or Z illegally, really, really think twice before you decide to talk to the pitcher.
Yeah, and I would only add to that the way I kind of look at it is don't worry about seeing the foot come back to the ground. Look for a second push because that's what really makes the difference. Because normally a lot of times it's kind of simultaneous to the foot going into the ground. Okay, so it looks like we got 10 answers here on during the act of pitching, which movement is not legal. So the answer is C. The pitcher replants the pivot foot, resulting in the non-pivot foot becoming closer to the home plate before the act of delivering the pitch. Carl, you want to kind of go over that in terms of the act of delivering the pitch?
Yeah. So by the book,
Or
the
Steve, I'm
act of
sorry, but
the act of delivering the pitch means that by the book standard, right, is her pitching hand at her hip. It does not say the ball has to be out of her hand. It just says that her pitching hand needs to be at her hip. So that is the act of delivering the pitch, right? So the other thing to keep in mind is Tony is right. If the pitcher's foot that is on the pitching plate that she's pushing off with, if that just touches the ground before she pitches, she's separated from the rubber and the toe is pointed down, right? And the toe touches the ground, that is not a replant, right? A replant to me would be you're
front
looking
foot
at the
pitching
sole of her foot is in the ground, right? And she's pushing off the ground again, right?
with the
That
front
is
foot, I think.
with
Right.
the that particular foot, right?
And you won't see it very often. Some you will see it, but you won't see it often. So don't don't nitpick. But and Steve is exactly right that coaches will try to gain an advantage by planting something in you, and then you talk to the pitcher, and that messes up the pitcher.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that unless you absolutely have to.
The other part of that is, so let's talk a second, right? Those of you that do travel softball, I would encourage you to employ this philosophy at the same time for high school. These are minor girls that you're talking to. Most of us are men. Do not go out to that mound and have a conversation with that pitcher by yourself. Call time, call the coach out, and have that conversation together, right? Then there's no ambiguity. There's no issues that you can get yourself into. Play it safe rather than sorry is my advice to you.
All right, awesome. Okay, let's probably try and speed this up a little bit as I get a little bit more used to this. We're going on to question 7. And like I said, Carl, I think yeah, you can probably just let me know if you see something. Which of the following is not one of the requirements at MHS softball must complete to be assigned to the tournament? I think we should all know this by now since they beat us over the head with these requirements.
It's also weird to me that, just side note, that the requirement for softball is drastically different than the requirement for football.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. As far
and
as the ratings go, right? There's that whole ratings, you know,
yeah, you have to.
ratings
Well,
deal
I
with
think I
football.
think like you have the green check marks that show that your ratings are okay. So there
Yeah,
must be something. Like I think what it is that you don't have to have had a lot of previous experience, but if your ratings are terrible, then maybe they're not allowed to put you in there or something.
right.
I hope nobody falls under that category because I think it's
Yeah.
a pretty simple reach, I should say. Okay, question 8.
So question 7 was what? D, right?
I'm
Everybody got it
sorry.
right?
Yeah, it's work a minimum of 4 years as a
Yeah.
registered MHSA umpire. You don't need to have done that for softball or baseball for that matter, I don't think. Okay, a pitcher touches a towel containing an approved drying agent in a back pocket and then goes directly to the ball. What is the proper ruling? Looks like we're off to a good start here. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. The answer is C, legal. It's approved drying agents do not have to be removed from the hands. A lot of this can be taken care of by saying, knowing what's unapproved and asking that, is everybody legally and properly equipped? And if there's an appeal, now go do your business. And if anybody, wants to dispute that, that's fine. You guys, I would never tell people what to do, but sometimes, we can share what we do, because you just don't want to go looking for trouble as far as equipment stuff goes. All right. Share results. Looks like everybody got that. And I'm going to relaunch. So we're going to go on to question 9. Okay, a strike is charged to the batter when? Okay, it looks like I think one person said a penalty strike is called because a batter delays. That's not correct. The answer is all of the above. So I encourage everybody to keep reading the other ones in case there is an all of the above answer. I'd imagine that this person knows that the other ones are strikes as well. Does anybody have anything to add to that? Steve or Carl?
Fun fact, you can actually call a strike for intentionally deleting a chalked line. Just going to throw that out there.
Yep.
I did that at Walled Lake Central, and she was pissed.
Yep.
Yeah. So Steve's a walking, living, breathing example of looking for trouble and getting into trouble for it.
Tony,
and why not to do it? Can you do what? Can you?
Tony, it's Hub. Can I ask a quick question here that I've
Sure,
always
Hub.
had a hang up? Batter swings at the ball and she's hanging on, holding the bat. The ball hits her hands as she swings and hits a fair ball.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a
strike.
foul ball or is that
It's a
just
strike.
a strike?
That is a dead ball strike.
Okay, thank you.
It struck her person, right?
Yes. She
The hand
swung
is
and
not
hit
part of the
her.
bat. That's right. The hand is not part of the bat. You were not born with a bat in your hand, and that should be your response. That is a dead ball strike. Everybody
Okay.
goes back to where they started at the pitch.
Everybody clear on that before we let Hub go? All right, Hub, I'll only give you partial credit for the meeting. No, I'm just kidding. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Take care. Okay, guys, we're on number 10. Bases loaded, less than 2 outs, so we got an infield fly. How is an infield fly appropriately called? And you can say infield fly if fair. You can say infield fly. Just be loud about it and make sure that everybody knows that that's what you got. And if it lands foul, it's foul. Just
But
remember
who makes the
that,
call? Make sure everyone's on the same page. Who makes that
make
call?
sure that you know that an infield fly, the batter's only out if the ball is fair. And that means it lands in fair territory and does not roll foul before, like inside of the bases before somebody touches it, because that would still be a foul ball.
But no, who does it? The FU or PU?
the uh, the fielding umpire would throw their hand up in the air and point to the arc of the ball and show where the top of the arc is, and the batting umpire would then make the decision as to whether or not to call it. If your plate umpire is sound asleep and you know for a genuine fact in the field that it's an infield fly, the batter's out, go ahead and call it. I mean, I would rather have the wrong person call it than nobody call it, because all hell will break loose if you don't. Just make sure that there's no dispute as to not whether or not the home plate umpire judged that way, that they literally just weren't paying attention.
And can you have a infield fly on a bunted ball?
No. Everybody got that? If it's a bunt, there's no such thing as an infield fly.
Please use your signals with your fellow umpires, signaling that we have an infield fly situation. If you don't know
I'm
what
saying,
that
like,
signal is,
as a fielding umpire, point to the arc. If he's just like nobody's home, he's chasing butterflies, whatever it is, give that person all the opportunity in the world to make that call, because it's that person's call. And if they don't make the call and it's obvious and you have to do it, do it.
pre-pitch, please make sure you're signaling together, right? You're mimicking each other's signals so that you're both on the same page, so you don't get caught.
That you both know that the infield fly is in effect. Yes.
Is in effect. Yep.
Which question are we on now? 11?
11.
Can you see 11?
Not yet. So that was A for everybody that.
Oh, I think I need to relaunch poll. Okay.
All right, now we got 11.
Okay, with R1 on third base, R2 on second base, and 1 out, B4 hits a deep fly ball to F9 that is caught. R1 leaves the base before F9 touches the ball, but R2 legally tags. Both R1 and R2 score as F9's throw is off target. Before the next pitch, the opposing team appeals that R1 left early. What is the correct ruling? Hey, Carl, I don't have this. Is D is the correct answer, right? I don't have it in front of me, and
D is the correct answer.
It is the correct
R1 is cleared out.
Yep.
For the third out of the inning, since the third out was an appeal of the lead runner, neither run scores.
Yep.
The reason I ask is that sometimes I'm reading these questions, but I'm not seeing them in my head while I'm reading them. So help me out, because all I have open is the quiz. All right.
And just make sure people know that mechanically the home plate umpire always has the lead runner, and the fielding umpire has the others.
And don't get ahead of yourself when there's an appeal play, right? Okay, coach, who are you appealing that left early? The runner on third, the runner on second, the runner on first. Who are we appealing? Because if they appeal this wrong, right? And they appeal the runner that actually did go back and tag up, then you have nothing.
Can they make a second appeal on the same play?
Negative.
Okay. All right, so good job. The answer is D. I'm going to end the poll and share the results. And because we all got it right, I'm going to stop sharing. Then I'm going to relaunch the poll for question 13, because we're going to try and get through these a little bit faster.
12. Question 12.
Oh, are we on 12 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. A fair batted ball is wedged into the fence. The umpire should I like B as an answer. Okay, it looks like everybody got this one right. Good job. The answer is A, call a dead ball and award the batter 2 bases from the time of the pitch. This one to me wasn't obvious, but I'm glad everybody knows the rule. Because D is a logical answer, but it's not the correct answer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end the poll, share the results. Go to stop sharing, relaunch poll, and now we're on 13, right? Are you guys going to the top of the poll every time I relaunch, or is it going to the correct one that we got?
Sometimes
Carl?
I have to scroll, but it's fine.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I got to scroll every time, so apologize for the inconvenience, guys. We'll try and work on these so that we can see what we can do to make them a little more convenient in the future. Okay, once the third out is made by the defense, the teams are given 1 minute between innings to prepare for the new half inning. Once the allowed 1 minute has expired, which of the following is true? It looks like everybody knows these speed up rules. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell. I wouldn't tell anybody what to do with these things. If you got a stopwatch and you want to use it, go ahead and use it. Just make sure that you have the rule right. I don't see the harm in just kind of moving things along and keeping it at a pace without using a stopwatch. But if you want to use one, go ahead and use one.
And it does happen a lot, Tony. Just letting everybody know that you will have a pitcher who's just the human rain delay. And a coach will come up to you, and you want to speed things along, and the coach will say, "Well, what's the rule?"
Yeah,
And the rule is 20 seconds.
20 seconds
And
and the
it's
ball.
okay to say, "Hey, coach, so your pitcher's really taking. I don't want to put her on the clock. Can you please get her to speed up?" And he'll say, "Well, what's the rule?" It's like, "Well, she's got 20 seconds once she receives the ball."
Good. That's good advice. Thank you. All right, next
Hey,
one.
hey, Tony, real
Go ahead.
quick. So good catch, Tim. Is it Anstedt? Sorry, I don't if I massacred your last name. You are right. Tony asked the question, can you have more than one appeal on the same play? And 218 says that you can. So I was wrong. I can tell you that I don't at 27 years now, this has never happened to me. But it says more than one appeal play may be made, but guessing games should not be allowed. Example, the runner misses second base by a step, but just touches the corner of third base. Even though an appeal is made at third base, the umpire called the runner safe. An appeal may be made at second base on the same runner. So I was wrong. Good catch, Tim. Thank you.
Okay, we're on question. Are we on 14 or 13?
14. Yeah, 14.
Yeah.
The clarification for 13 though. What's the
Yeah, go ahead.
what's the correct answer for 13?
D.
All of the above, D. So
Thank you.
all three of those choices are in the rule book somewhere. Which of the following statements is legal about the use of one-way communication? We should all know these by now.
What?
Look,
What are you talking about?
we're the only ones. If one of your boys hit her,
Taj, can you mute?
they
Taj, mute. All right. 14. We've only got 7 answers in so far. If anybody wants a little more time, we got 8. Okay. got a little bit of a variance. Most people selected the catcher checks their smartwatch. I'm going to end the poll and share the results. But Carl, you wanna go over that one a little bit? Number 14. Can you guys see the results of 14?
Yeah.
Yes.
Scrolling down. Give me a second.
Okay, so all of these
So-
are legal is not the right answer because we know that the pitcher can't check their smartwatch for communication. Now, if you were thinking they're allowed to have a smartwatch, so just looking at the watch does not in of itself make a legal act, I would say that the spirit of the question is trying to tell you that they're checking it to see what the pitch should be.
Right.
Okay.
Also, the coach can't have a communication on the field. So,
correct.
Taking
Only
those two
from the
into
dugout.
account. That's right. Dugout or behind, out of play on the bench, in the benches, in the stands, something like that, like we talked about earlier.
Right. And we know that the catcher can check their smartwatch to give the signal to the pitcher,
Right.
but can't talk back to whoever sent her the signal. Okay, so 15. We're gonna have to speed this up. We might even have to just give you the last handful of answers. I'd rather not do that, so let's try and get through this, but be ready to write them down if we start buzzing through them, okay? Which statement is incorrect ruling of interference? It's an incorrect ruling of interference. Okay, it looks like everybody's all over this one. If you read this, it's pretty obvious that that C is one of the answers. Now you just need to know if there's not an answer that says all of them are incorrect.
Tony, I'll just quickly add that the most common non-physical interference, you have a pop-up near the opposing
And they say
team's
boo.
bench and you hear them yell, I got it, I got it. You
Yeah.
immediately call dead ball, batter runners out, everyone.
And
It happens a
if they
lot.
want to complain about it, say, hey, you got to know this stuff. Okay, so end poll, share results, stop sharing because everybody got it right. Now we're going to relaunch poll and go to the next question. Which one are we on? 15 or 16?
16.
16. Thanks, Carl. All of the following apparel are legal except okay, we know that the sleeves have to be what, school color or white or I'm sorry, single color, right? What's the exact rule again, Carl?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. 1 second.
167.
Exposed garments, if worn, are considered part of the official uniform. All exposed undergarments shall be a solid single color, black,
Right,
white,
solid
gray,
single.
or school color. So
Okay,
And the
good.
other thing that they need to know with it being really, really cold, some of the girls are going to want to come up with sweatshirts. I always say, coach, let them be comfortable, but they have to announce
Absolutely.
their number.
Okay,
absolutely.
and one person answered can't wear a white arm sleeve. Yes, you can in softball. Just remember that.
Yep.
That's baseball that the pitcher cannot wear the white arm sleeve. Okay, so stop sharing, relaunch, and then we're on 17. Ah. Ball becomes dead in all of the following situations except what? Okay, so looks like we're a couple people. I'll give it a couple more seconds and then I'll end the poll. Then I'll share the results and we can talk about it. There's a few people with C and there's a few people with D. More people with D than C. So let's go ahead and end that and talk about it.
Just remember that if she delivers an illegal pitch, you stick your left arm out, announce I have an illegal, just say illegal pitch, because the offense, if she rips a home run or a double, then the coach has choice as to
take the result
the
or
result of the
the
play
pitch.
or a ball. And runners do not advance.
Correct. That's why. And the infielder intentionally dropping a fair ball that you definitely judge it. That's what she did. Stop it and say, we're out. I'm not playing that, trying to get a double play game thing. Okay. All right. So moving on to what are we on, 18 now?
18.
All right. Getting better at this. I'm talking about me presenting, not you guys answering. You guys are doing great. All right, there are 2 outs, and R1 is on second base. B4 strikes out, but F2 drops the ball. B4 is able to reach first while F2 chases down the ball. F2 then overthrows third base as R1 is advancing and the ball bounces over the fence in foul territory. What is the correct procedure for advancement of the runners? So the question would be basically the choices between, because we know that the runner on third's getting home. The question is, I think the sticking point of the question here is that if they're kind of going back to a base, do they still get 2 bases or do they have to be going towards the next base? And so Carl, it looks like there's just a little bit of dispute on this one. So I'll share the results and either you or Steve can discuss. You guys see the results?
Yes.
Sorry. Trying to scroll down.
Yeah, 18.
There we
The
go.
correct answer is R1 is awarded home and B4 is awarded third base. But it says B4 is able to reach first base while F2 chases the ball, then they throw it back down. So that person got back to the base, and now there was an overthrow that will allow that runner 2 bases.
Right.
So B4 is going to be on third base, and R1 is going to go home. So the answer is B. Pretty straightforward, Carl. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, no, I think that's straightforward. I know
Okay.
there's a lot going on there, but just kind of take your time, think about what you see. Please be paying attention to your responsibilities so that you have an idea of where these runners are when this ball goes out of play.
Now, I'm not looking at the rule itself right now. So if let's say that the right fielder is trying to throw the runner out at first base, and the runner would have been out by a mile, except if they overthrew it and it went over the fence. Where do you put the runner that was going back to first base?
So it's what, 2 bases, right? From the time of the throw
But they haven't
from an
tagged,
outfielder.
they didn't tag up, like they were like stealing, like on the
Oh, I gotcha.
or they were running on contact. So now they're heading back to first base, and there's an overthrow because like the right fielder was exuberant and trying to get the runner back out at first base.
So this says penalties for under 8, 5, and then Article 5, right? The ball is in play and is overthrown beyond the boundary lines or is blocked by the defense. So it says the rules are all runners will be awarded 2 bases, and the award will be governed by the position of the runners when the ball left the fielder's hand.
So if
If two,
one of those bases includes getting back to the base, then they only get second base, correct?
so it would be 2 bases from the base they legally last touched, right? So
Oh, is that what it says?
if
Okay.
they've obtained first base, then it's 2 bases from where they are from the time of the throw. So you adjudicate that by the base that they last touched
Okay. So
legally.
it doesn't matter whether they were heading back to the base or standing on the base, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, good. Because that sounded a little fishy to me when I said it. Okay, good. Don't listen to me. Listen to Carl. All right, so now we're on 19. I think it's 19, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Steve's gonna be pissed if you don't all get this one. Who can legally replace the flex?
Remember, the flex is the defensive player who's not batting.
I know it'd be easier if the DP was defensive player, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's opposite. So you all got this right. It's A and B. Any legal substitute can substitute for anybody. And obviously the flex. Or the DP can go in for the flex or vice versa.
Yeah, someone just mentioned you got 4 minutes left.
Well,
So-
I technically have 20 because it said do you guys want me to buzz through it? Can you
Yeah, why don't you just buzz through them? If anyone has any questions, we can just play whack-a-mole. That's fine.
okay. Well, I'm not looking at the answers, so Carl, I might need your help.
Yep.
20, R1 is on second base and R2 is on first base. R1 gets caught in the rundown between second and third as R1 retreats to second. F4 blocks the bag prior to receiving the ball, obstructing R1 from sliding into the bag. Then F6 then tags R1. The correct call is, so
A.
Carl, just why don't we just have Carl put the answer in there?
Yeah, so the answer is A.
The umpire signals a delayed dead ball when R1 is put out between the two bases. Okay, so 20 is A. 21, or do you want to add to that, Steve?
The only thing I'll add is the biggest thing to remember about obstruction is you are never out in between the bases where the obstruction occurs. If they choose to go beyond that, they can be put out.
Right.
Right. Okay. 21, B1 bats out of order and reaches first base. F1 then steps onto the pitcher's plate and commits an illegal pitch. Defense then appeals that B1 has batted out of order. What is the correct ruling?
This is C. The defense can no longer appeal batting out of order since the infraction was not appealed prior to the next pitch.
Yeah. And the thing to remember there probably is that it's not the next legal pitch, it's the next
Correct.
legal or illegal pitch.
Correct.
Okay. So the answer is Charlie on 21. 22. R1 is on second base and B2 hits a home run over the fence. R1 trips after touching third and B2 comes and helps R1 up. R1 touches home plate and then B2 touches home plate to score 2 runs. What is a proper ruling? I don't remember the answer to this.
That would be C, no violation, as both R1 and I think this should be R2, not B2, right?
Right.
Touched all bases legally and in order. So there was no passing of the runner and they touched in the correct order. So C is the correct answer.
All right, very good. 23, Team A is recording the game from a camera position behind the backstop. During the third inning, the coach from Team A reviews video with a third base player, where is this video permissible?
Only permissible in where? In the dugout,
dugout.
according to these answers, right?
What's that?
According
Oh,
to
I
these
see. Like, yeah,
answers.
if they
Yeah,
went to the bathroom at the park, you can't
correct.
stop them.
Yeah,
You can't stop them from doing
exactly.
that.
Exactly.
Do not follow them into the bathroom.
Mhm.
Okay. 24. If the ball slips from F1's hand during the forward or backward backswing motion, the correct call is
C, the ball remains in play. A ball is awarded to the batter, and the runners may advance with liability to be put out. That's a live ball. That is not a dead ball.
oh, correct. Yeah, because even though it's not a great pitch, it's still a pitch.
Yep.
But
Okay.
remember, only if the feet are in correct position.
Correct.
I mean, if she's standing off and she drops the ball, you got nothing.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
And the runners cannot advance either.
Correct.
Okay. After a leadoff double, B2 comes to bat with R1 on second base and no outs. The coach on defense asks the umpire to intentionally walk B2. After B2 is awarded intentional walk, coach comes back to the dugout and asks to appeal R1, missing first base on the previous play. The correct ruling is
That would be C. For purposes of an appeal, an intentional walk is considered the same as throwing a pitch, and therefore no appeal on the previous play can be made.
very
C.
good. 26. Which of the following is an infraction by the catcher?
That is A. A catcher assumes a position outside the catcher's box before a pitch is released.
Okay, it's probably nothing to discuss there. That's pretty obvious. And you'll never see it, but know the rule. What would the penalty be on that one, by the way? A ball?
I believe it's illegal. I believe that's considered illegal pitch in high
So
school.
they'd give it a ball on it.
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
so. Let me double check real quick while
So
we're
it's live, it'd
talking.
be a live ball foul, then you just stick your arm out, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Give the catcher a chance to get in the box. If they're obviously pulling some shenanigans, then start calling that stuff.
Yeah, the penalty is illegal pitch.
Okay.
So, yep.
27 with no outs and R1 on first base. B2 hits a ground ball on the first base side of the infield. F4 moves into the baseline to make an initial play on a batted ball using normal movement after the R1 using normal movement alters the base path going either behind or in front of F4 to avoid contact with F4 fielding the ball. The correct call is?
Correct call is C. R1's movement is to avoid interfering with a fielder attempting to make the initial play on a batted ball. So as long as the umpire's judgment that there is not interference, this is a legal play.
Yeah, if they start dancing in front of the fielder to distract them from catching the ball, then now you got interference, okay? But otherwise, as long as they're not doing something, the baseline's not really an issue. As long as they're trying to avoid the defender, because you'll see the infielders all the time, like right in the baseline.
And the only thing I will add to this that's really important, because you hear it all the time from coaches who don't know the rules. There is no such thing as a runner has a right to the baseline,
That's right.
especially if there's a batted ball.
That's right.
Correct. Okay. A1 is Team A's pitcher in the fourth inning. A11 is brought in as a relief pitcher in that inning. Team A's coach wants to re-enter A1 in the fourth inning, which now it's still the same inning. So you might read this like, oh, it's the next inning. No, we're talking about the same inning. Okay. The correct call is?
So this is legal, and they do not get any warm-up pitches. So that is
right.
A.
If they return the same pitcher that pitched that same inning, they don't get any warm-ups. And
That's right.
And they all know that. They're not gonna try and get warm-ups. Now, if it's 30 degrees like it was today, I guess that's your discretion, but you might not want to ask for trouble and just apply the rule as the rule in that case. Okay. In which of the following situations is the batter out?
This would be D. the batter's bunt on third strike is foul. So
Yeah,
that is an out.
this is one of those ones where you just got to read to the end because everybody knows that a third strike on a bunt on a foul or a foul on a bunt third after there were two strikes, the batter is out.
And when is the only time that this is not true? Well, it's kind of not true. Is if you're doing Catholic League.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Well, we don't care
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that.
I'm just it comes up all the time. Just letting people know that
That's fair.
because if they bunt, if there's one strike and they bunt and it's foul, they still get another.
They get this. Yeah, it's like the one to waste rule if you ever used to do beer league softball.
Hmm.
You get one to waste. It's the same in baseball too for Catholic League. Okay. B130, it's the last one, right?
Yep.
B1 hits a dribbler in front of home plate and a few feet down and it rolls a few feet down the baseline. F2 fields the ball and doesn't throw because B1 is outside the 3-foot running lane and in the way of the. Wait, my thing went back.
In the way of a potential throw.
In the way of a potential throw.
So basically the catcher didn't throw the ball to first because they felt like they were going to hit the runner. Right?
Yes.
And so the answer to this is B, the plate umpire lets the play stand as there is no interference on B1. You have to throw the ball.
If it hits them, it hits them.
Right. You have to throw the ball. You have to be attempting to make a play.
And don't forget, this is a point of emphasis.
Yeah, and don't call interference before they throw the ball.
Correct.
But the only problem is a lot of schools don't have that running lane, where they're supposed to be on the right side of the base path, which is essentially halfway.
Yeah, use your best judgment. A lot of the new fields do though, so you'll have that. And remember, it's the foot last touched outside of the baseline or of the 3-foot lane.
Right.
Okay, guys, good stuff.
One quick tip: if you are on a field that doesn't have a running lane, notice that during ground rules, right, and during when you walk out, and pay attention to runners' feet touching the foul line. If runners' feet are on the foul line and they're contacted by a thrown ball, can they be in the running lane?
Were you asking me? I'm sorry.
I'm just asking in general, right?
Okay.
So to me, that would be a no. They would now be in fair territory, and then they're interfering. That is interference.
All right. Hey, Carl and Steve, I really appreciate your help. And everybody on the call, if you have any questions about any of the 30 or anything in general, please do contact us. We know we buzzed through the last several of them. If you have any questions right now, maybe we got a minute or two, but everybody else, feel free to go ahead and sign off. And we appreciate you guys. For what you do. Okay. Thanks, guys. I'll stay on for a couple seconds in case anybody has a question.
Hey, Tony, I have a question.
Okay, what's up?
So I see this happen quite often with my daughter's games at high school. I'm not umpiring, but I am a spectator.
Okay.
And it was briefly talked about earlier in cold weather like we are experiencing right now in terms of cold weather gear and the lack of numbers or identifying information on the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I see quite often players going out wearing a jersey. Our scorekeeper or the umpire isn't notified who that player is going in. Then the following inning, the original starter is back in, and it becomes a whole cluster bleep trying to figure out who's legal, who's not legal, as well as just regular substitution. I'm very surprised as to how many high school coaches don't realize that they need to report the re-entry.
So
back to how should that be handled?
Well, what I would say is if nobody appealed anything as far as batting out of order or hey, that player was the was out of the game before and then got replaced by somebody because they're all wearing jackets and like over their numbers and we can't see the numbers. Um, first of all, I would recommend always allowing them to wear jackets if they feel it's cold enough that they need to do that.
Sure.
Okay. I know Seaholm. I just was at Seaholm. Their coach doesn't allow it, but the team that they were playing, they had jackets in the field. Now, if Seaholm came to me and said, "Hey, they switched a player," and I'd be like, "Coach, you got to tell me at the time because it's freezing out here, and we're doing the best we can." But if you are certain and you say, "Young lady, let's see your number, like what number are you?" and show me your number, and then you check the lineup and that person was, let's say not eligible because they already left the game twice or whatever. Now you got an issue. You probably restrict her to the bench or eject her. Okay, and you might eject the coach as well on that. But I wouldn't look for trouble on that kind of stuff, and I don't think you're going to get a situation where maybe in travel ball they might get some shenanigans, but usually by the time travel ball it's warm enough, everybody's got numbers. So
Right.
I'm not sure what to tell you other than in high school you got to work with the coaches, and you really have to, you really have to say, look, hey, if they really did that, you got to tell me because you guys are a lot more worried about that than I am. You tell me you're legally and properly equipped. I trust you to a certain extent, like until I can't trust you anymore. Okay. But I don't have 19 pairs of eyes. So, I wouldn't, I'd be nice about it in terms of it saying it that way, but that's kind of how I would approach
I
it.
can tell you what the book says. It's if you know for a fact it happened, it's an unreported sub. It's a team warning. If it happens again, the head coach is restricted. And I don't have the book open, but that is what it is. If it's an illegal sub, that's different. But what he described was probably they just forgot to report it.
Right.
Unreported sub is a team warning. Happens the second time. Now the head coach is restricted.
Okay, I was talking about an illegal stuff, but okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank
Well,
you.
yeah, it actually both are correct, and I kind of meshed it. So I know for a fact. I don't know if any of you do the Troy games, but the three Troy coaches, they're all basketball people, and they've never cracked the rule book. So what happens is, their right fielder plays 3-4 innings. She goes into the dugout. Here comes the sub. It gets reported. Okay, fine. Well, the original sub then an inning or two later re-enters back in the right field, and those coaches don't tell the home plate umpire. I am keeping a book on the side. I can go and tell our coaches or our scorekeeper, hey, did anyone report the re-entry? They say, no, we didn't. Well, then the home umpire is like, well, I don't know. I was never reported. And then you get all this gray area.
Yeah, no, you're right that you should make an effort to find those out. But if they're sneaking, these girls all look alike to us. If they're sneaking somebody on the field, shame on them for one thing.
Right.
But for another thing, just a re-entry, that's an unreported legal substitution. It's not as big of a deal as an unreported illegal substitution. So, just to acknowledge that it happened, tisk the coach, and I would recommend moving on. Just say, you better not do that again.
Hey,
Or
Brian,
Yes.
I would give you maybe look at or think about some preventative umpiring, right? Especially this time of year. It's cold. You know that these things probably would occur, right? And address this at your plate meeting. Coach, I know it's cold. If we've got any players coming up with sweatshirts on to bat, right? Please have them announce. And then as they come up, hey, what number are you? Right? And then you announce, hey, this is number 9. Hey, this is number 2. Right? That gets rid of a whole bunch of grief. Now, not everyone agrees with that concept, but to me, that keeps everyone honest, including yourself, and you address it right from the jump start, right?
I agree with
the
it,
subs reporting, on defense is a different topic.
Right.
I think that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
But as far as a girl coming up to bat wearing a sweatshirt and you don't know if she batted out of order or not because nobody knows what the hell number she is, that you could cover and do a little bit of preventative umpiring right at the beginning plate meeting.
Right. I had a argument with a partner last year who insisted the players had to remove the jersey, put the sweatshirt on, and then put the jersey on over it so the number was visible.
No.
And
No,
which
that
made,
guy's
No,
absolutely
that-
wrong.
well, but what I did
Oh,
that made
chicken
no
butters.
that made no sense to me. So I had
Sure.
I called Andy the day after, and she said exactly what you said. Wear the sweatshirt if it's cold. If you're cold, they're cold, and they can wear the sweatshirt. And as they come up, just announce what number you are, and that solves the problem.
Yeah, I think
So,
I was
I
more
just,
picturing the defensive substitutions because we can't. I mean, you can't, even if they're wearing numbers, you can't necessarily see the numbers from home plate.
Right.
You know?
And honestly, I wouldn't know. If 19 came in for 9 and nobody told me, I'm not sure I would know.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, shame on you if you didn't write it down and they did tell you that.
Oh, no. Right. If I wrote it down, I'm just saying.
If you didn't write
when
it
the players
down,
come out of the dugout, I don't keep track of what numbers they are. And
you know what, though, you guys,
inning,
you do know the only reason why an opposing coach doesn't like that, if a kid is coming up with a baggy sweatshirt and, a ball grazes this, like a flap or something, they don't want you, awarding a first base. That's one of the main reasons why they don't like it.
Pretend you didn't see it if that's the case.
I would just be like, Coach, I didn't see it. Brandon Inge at Minnesota, game 163.
Well, he got hit. That was a bad call. All right, guys. Anything else? Really appreciate your time. I'm gonna go ahead and check out, and then let Shane know that you guys did great, and we'll see everybody next week. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.